This week on the Retirement Quick Tips podcast, I'm sharing with you my experience with my own personal no spend October. Today, I'm talking about a few things to consider if you are going to embark on your own no spend month. Hopefully, you've been inspired to undertake this for yourself. And as I'll talk about today, you don't have to go like full on no spend, nothing at all. You could actually just pick one area. Maybe you're not going to eat out, something like that. So you could do a no spend month just on one problem area instead of quitting all non-essential spending cold turkey. So, we all have our problem areas when it comes to spending. Do you go out to eat too much? Maybe try a no spend month in this area where you only eat at home for the entire month. So that's just one example, but whether or not you do it for everything for an entire month and spend only on the necessities across all categories, or just pick maybe one or two areas, I really encourage you and I hope you are inspired to embark on your own no spend month. So if you do, here are a few ideas and suggestions for you. Now, first of all, I would not actually try this in November or December. In fact, the only reason I'm talking about it now is because I just finished and I want it to be fresh in my mind with the experience of doing it during the month of October. I just think November, December, it is just too difficult with the holidays. There's so many more social events and travel and eating out and buying gifts, and it's just too crazy. That would be torture. But January, on the other hand, is actually a really popular time to do a no spend month. So you can lay your groundwork right now. You can set some rules. You can think through how you might overcome some of the obstacles that you might have. And then just set a reminder for yourself in like mid to late December, like, oh, hey, you were going to do that no spend month. How about we start that in January? It's a nice way to kick off the new year. I like it because I'm not a huge fan of New Year's resolutions in general, but it's not really a resolution. It's just like, I'm going to do this challenge for the month of January. And you know what? I got all these credit card bills coming due anyways this month from all the gifts I bought in December. So it's a good time to do it financially as well. But you know what? January might be too much. Maybe you're undertaking a New Year's resolution or some other reset. Then you can push it out to February. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. The main thing is that you give it a go, because I think it showed me where I struggle with spending, and it has so many upsides. I learned so many things. If you missed that episode where I talked about the 5 important things I learned, go back and listen to it. I think it will really encourage you and show you that you don't need to spend money to be fulfilled. In fact, spending less money can help you feel more at peace, reduce your anxiety. That was definitely my own experience. And also just empowering you to not be enslaved to your own spending habits. So another important thing to consider is you really want to have a goal in mind. Why would you do a no spend month? Do you want to use it to increase your fortitude, take a little break from constantly indulging yourself and not saying no enough? If you don't say no enough to yourself, like that was probably my main reason for wanting to do a no spend month. I just don't think about it a whole lot. If the mood strikes and I want to buy a coffee, then I'm going to go buy a coffee. And saying no to yourself, though, is important. We have to do that from time to time. It's good. Another one is, do you want to live more simply, reduce your guilt, your anxiety about spending money, and have more peace? That wasn't a goal I had for myself at the start, but that was definitely the outcome of my no spend month. And I'm so glad that I did the no spend month. It was joyful, actually. I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, maybe though you're saving for a big purchase. Like it doesn't have to be this like big psychological or mental reason why you would want to do it, but maybe it's just more practical. Like you have a big purchase, maybe you're going to take a trip, maybe you have some debt that you're trying to pay off. I wasn't specific in my goals, but I think it does help to have some specific target in mind. Like I want to save an extra X number of dollars this month by having a no spend month, or I want to pay off this particular debt by having my no spend month. So being specific, having a goal in mind, that can certainly help you with sticking with a no spend month, which, a month is a long time. But the beauty is it's just long enough to start building a new habit of not spending and spending less. Another popular reason why I think people should do a no spend month is to stop emotional spending. They don't call it retail therapy for nothing. That's because a lot of us have, you have a bad day or you're stressed and you turn to the comfort of scrolling on your phone for something on social media that you want to buy. Now, your no spend month, I mentioned this, it could just be one problem area or it could be all non-essentials. You kind of have to decide how you're going to do your particular flavor of no spend month. But in general, so here are some other rules I would consider. Okay, set a goal. That's important. Something that's inspiring that you'll help you stick with a month of no spending. You really want to decide in advance, not on the fly, in advance, what categories of spending are okay and which ones are off limits. Another important one is looking ahead at your calendar. Are there special events? Are there social functions? Are you going to have to buy a new outfit for something? Can you wear what you already have? Are you going to spend money on eating out because a friend has a birthday and you guys always go out for lunch on that day? Whatever the reason is, you want to decide in advance if you're going to have any exceptions. Okay, on this day, I have to buy a birthday present or we're going out for a birthday lunch or whatever the reason is. How are you going to make any exceptions or are you not going to make exceptions? You want to decide that in advance. Maybe you just set aside a specific dollar amount for the month. Get $100 of cash at the ATM, stick it in your wallet, and then when you have circumstances that were unexpected or they crop up or, your friend invites you to go out for coffee and you don't want to say no to your friend, well, you could have something like that where you just have a little envelope of cash for anything that might crop up during the month and you better make it last for the entire month. Another one is you want to make a specific plan for eating and how you're going to handle your meals. Now, personally, I do not eat out that much anyways, so this wasn't a big adjustment for me, but it does require some extra planning if you're used to eating out more often, because if you're going to do a no spend month, you don't want to be eating out. We want to avoid that. Make a wish list. I talked about this in detail yesterday. And it is so important because you're going to have things that crop up and you want to keep track of what it is that you want to buy when your no spend month is over. Now, I don't recommend binging on the first day of the next month, but I already talked about this. It's an absolute essential to have some way to jot down, ideally an app on your phone where you can make notes about things that you want to buy when your no spend month is over. And you might find that a lot of it you don't end up buying anyways, which is very important takeaway. The last one is decide if you're going to track your progress. Now, I'm pretty sick of tracking things. I think there are just too many things to track, whether it's eating or steps or whatever it is. It's no, I'm done tracking things. So I actually didn't do this, but do as I say, not as I do. So it didn't work for me, but tracking your progress, it's proven that it does help you stay on track. It helps to motivate you. You can track your progress just keeping notes. You could do a little sticker chart for yourself like I do for my 4-year-old. It's oh, you didn't spend any money this month? You get a sticker. Look at you. Gold star. Nice job. Don't talk to yourself like that. It sounds awful, but you get the idea. The other thing you could do is instead of your little sticker chart, every day you could actually write down what you spent and what you spend it on. So kind of like a little notebook. And I think that's interesting because then you can really reflect on, was this a necessity? Was this a want? There's this huge gray area. Even if you bought, you spent $150, $200 at the grocery store, whatever it is, you just write that down and no guilt, no nothing. You're just tracking your spending. So you get to the end of the month and you can see what you actually spent that month every single day. And then you can compare it to the previous months, the last maybe 6-7 months. So you have an average and then you realize how much you saved, how much money you saved during that no spend month. I think so there's benefits to tracking, just not something I was interested in doing. It wasn't actually going to motivate me, but in hindsight, I kind of wish I would have tracked it because it would have been cool, I think, to get to the end of the month and see how much did I spend this month versus I could just look at my spending for the last 6 months compared to normal. So that would have been useful. Dang it, I should have done that. Okay. Lots of good resources online too. You just Google no spend month rules and you'll see some other ideas and tips if you're going to embark on your own no spend month. All right. I might be at a record. I don't think I've gone past 11 minutes before. That is, I don't call it quick tips for nothing. Ashley's intermediate term tips. All right. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Ashley Michike, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips podcast.